Well, this is an interesting twist. We have Doctor Who actress Alex Kingston coming out against cancel culture in the middle of this weird new Doctor Who campaign where they've canceled fans. They are calling you racist bigots if you don't like the show. This is probably why she's not appearing in the show anymore, probably why River Song didn't get her own spin-off show. Looks like she doesn't have the right politics for Russell T Davies and his cancel culture brigade. Now, I've heard stories from inside Doctor Who, starting with Christopher Eccleston, that the culture there is toxic, that Russell T Davies is runs things like a tyrant, and if you don't follow along with his agenda, you're out, and that's kind of how it works. He said he'd never come back to Doctor Who under these conditions until all of these people were fired because it's such a disaster over there. And now, of course, the current iteration of Doctor Who is featuring just this crazy LGBTQ propaganda all the time. This is the type of stuff that they push. This is the new Nazis. You got to wear your rainbow flag pride stuff and show it proudly, or you get fired. And this is just a new, interesting twist in what's going on. We'll get into the news in just a moment. My name is John Delarose. I am a #1 best-selling science fiction author, and of course, I've been canceled by the science fiction publishing establishment, the people like Russell T Davies that run publishing. And so I have my own books, and I just do it myself. And of course, Doctor Who fans are some of the best readers out there. I've loved how much you guys have been coming in hard for this trilogy. This is The Stars Entwined, and it's book 1 of the Orishan War. If you want to check out the whole series, it has a great payoff, and you will absolutely love this. It's available on ebook and print and audio. I'll put that link in the description below. Thank you guys so much for checking out the science fiction books. Appreciate you for being there. And please hit the like and subscribe button. Join our little community here. We are pushing back against the cancel culture brigade and pushing back against the craziness that's going on with Doctor Who. And love that you're here. All right, so this is what she says. Like most sane individuals in the world, Alex Kingston is both fed up with and ready to move past the entire unforgiving concept of cancel culture. And of course, she played River Song during kind of the last hurrah of Doctor Who under Matt Smith. I know some folk like the Peter Capaldi area, and she was in it for a little bit on that too. But honestly, I think the writing went off the rails towards the end of the Matt Smith era for me personally, and that's kind of where I kind of gave up on Doctor Who. But she played this. She's played Dinah Lance in Arrow, pretty good stuff. And she's got a new TV drama called Douglas is Canceled, which is kind of going at this whole idea of cancel culture. The character in it finds himself under fire after making an off-color joke while on air. And that's the thing. You make a joke, you say things wrong. You just say something that the woke doesn't like. You say, "Hey, there's too much gay stuff in Doctor Who. I mean, you'll never get published. You'll never get a job again." You just say Doctor Who's not good, and all these people in Hollywood will blacklist you. It's kind of how it goes. And so she actually said, "Cancel culture is terrifying. Sort of fantastic, really. I don't think people realize how dangerous canceling people is and what's that's meant historically." It's been really bad, of course, and I think there's been some pushback against it overall in the culture. If you look at the way that things went in 2016 through 2020, you get canceled very easily. There wasn't much you could do about it. But now there's this whole alternative culture, and when we're kind of a part of it, where it's we see somebody getting canceled unfairly, like a Gina Carano. Of course, she's suing Disney Star Wars because of their treatment of her over politics right now. And we rally behind those people pretty hard, and then those people actually end up, being able to fight against these evil corporate establishments like this. So it's a different era now than it was a few years ago, but the crowd's just as vicious. They'll come after you really hard. I had one earlier this year hitting at me, leaving me dozens of messages, just nasty stuff, just over sort of my comic book reporting. I mean, it's kind of crazy just how insane the mob goes and just how they don't even think once they're getting on that level. It is crazy, and this is what we're dealing with. This is where Doctor Who's at these days. Is they tell you you're not a real fan if you don't like what they're doing with the current program. They tell you you're a racist bigot and they don't want you around. And then they cry that you're a racist bigot because you're not watching the show. So at least there is some consequences for when they go full cancel culture on the fans like this at this point. She says, my generation is treading on eggshells, not knowing whether what you say will unintentionally hurt somebody. And this is where she kind of gets weird. I get really confused about pronouns, for instance. I'm not confident on how or when to use them. Now, this is an interesting phrasing, and you can look at this two ways. You can look at it as she's really trying to respect the Zem weirdos out there, or you can look at it as she thinks pronouns are ridiculous, and this is her very careful way of phrasing things because she has to tread on eggshells. Of course, you know the story of J.K. Rowling, another British lady who had got canceled really, really hard because she basically said, hey, these men in dresses are not real women, and treating them as such is insulting to real women. And it is. I mean, I couldn't imagine being a woman and like a swimmer or something, and I'm trying to like go for my gold medal, and this dude shows up. He says he's a woman, and then just like runs laps around me because his muscles are bigger, and then he gets the gold medal, right? And then you're supposed to clap for them and go, yes, you are a she. It's absolutely insane. So she got canceled for that. J.K. Rowling did. And we know how vicious these people have been against her, trying to just destroy her. Every single day, you just see nasty posts about her. You see threats to her, just because she just stood up and said, you know what, enough's enough. And that might be the situation here. It kind of, if you're reading between the subtext, it looks like Kingston's like, this stuff doesn't make any sense. And she's being very, very careful because if she says something wrong, she knows she's never going to get work again at the BBC. That's just how it goes at this point. There's no empathy, sympathy. Opinions are immediate and black and white. I hope we'll start coming back to a place where people can be kinder to each other, both in thinking about what they're going to say and hearing what's being said. Well, that's never going to happen. Unfortunately, these people are so deranged, and because they're in their little echo chamber circles on the internet, they're going to keep going at anybody who violates their narrative. This is what happens every single time. And when you violate that narrative, and this is dangerously close to violating the narrative, even talking about being anti-cancel culture is something that they signal that, it signals to them you're on the wrong side. You're the person. You're the problem. You're protecting the bigots. It is very much something that could stir up the mob very quickly, even just with this, and that's why I think she phrased this so carefully. But it's only going to get worse because there's three rules of the SJWs out there that do this kind of thing. The social justice warriors who want to push this kind of agenda. One, social justice warriors always lie. Everything they do is a lie. When they say a man wearing a dress is a real woman, that's a lie, of course. They always double down. So every time that you get into a situation, they are always going to just push further and push harder. You see this with Doctor Who and the current iteration. It's just insane how much they're pushing the agenda over the actual show. It makes the show unwatchable because of that doubling down. And then they always project. So when they call you a bigot or call you something that you're closed-minded or whatever, they're the ones who are so closed-minded that they're like literally going to try to end people's careers over it, right? And so those are the three cardinal rules you can always expect. And I wonder if Kingston's going to start getting into trouble over this, or she might be far enough away from Doctor Who and everything that's going on that she doesn't have to deal with it so much. But interesting stuff. So she says she hopes society can reach a balance where parts are open, potentially to everyone, but within the right context. Sometimes if you want to be historically accurate, you got to face reality of what would have meant in casting terms. This is really funny, especially given that Doctor Who put Sir Isaac Newton, an actual historical figure, a white man from England, and actually cast him as an Indian guy just to kind of like put a middle finger to Doctor Who fans and tell them, you know what, we're going to diversity cast no matter what you'd say, and we don't even care if it's accurate. It's ridiculous. And if you look at the Bridgerton episode where they did the whole like 1800s Britain setting, I mean, they just had this whole weird like diverse cast through that too. It makes no sense in the context of England historically because England didn't look like that. They used to say we just want things to look like reality, but they've gone so far it's nothing like that at this point. People should be allowed to explore roles they would have not been able to explore before, and also not be deprived of roles or even writing roles because they don't physically apply to them. We need sensible, fertile middle ground. And this is talking about the cultural appropriation crap. And she's getting dangerously close to getting in trouble here because they've made it at this point like if you're not a gay man, you're not able to write a gay character. If you're not a black man, you're not able to write a black character because you don't have those experiences. So no matter what you do, the white person just gets in trouble. And that's what she's subtly referencing here. Wow, this is really, really based. It makes me wonder what's going on over at Doctor Who. Very interesting because she then gets asked about Doctor Who in the current iteration, and she poo-poos it. She says, I've been too busy to watch anything that needs my focus and attention. She says, I'm behind on Ncuti and the whole new world of Disney+. The fans will bring me up to date, no doubt. That is some shade right there. She's not going to bother watching this iteration of Doctor Who. She knows it's terrible. She says the fans will bring her up to date. We're bringing you up to date right here, and this is a great interview. It's inspiring just to hear people like stand up against this kind of thing because the mob is real, and they're after you. They're after all of us, and they're not going to back down until there's social pressure otherwise for them to stop doing this kind of thing, and that's what we're here to do. So, wow. Leave a comment down below with what you think about this. Hit the like and subscribe button. Make sure to check out The Stars Entwined on Amazon. And we'll be back soon.